Hey, what's up? What's up? How are you guys? XRP. Yeah, we'll take a look at XRP for sure. Yeah, I know. What's good, man? How are you guys? All right, let's take a look at XRP. Okay, yes. Okay. Yeah, it's 5:38, 5:39 a.m. for me too here. It's pretty early, pre-New York session. Can you guys hear me okay? I mean, XRP, it looks pretty good. XRP looks pretty good. So, it's holding. It's held as 786 pretty well. Let's delete all of this. We could start fresh here, right? And then this looks like an A, B, C, right? This looks like an A, B, C. And then you have your A, B, C. And then what we can do is take a fib from this high down to this low and take a look at all of these fibs here. Nice. Australia. Yeah, I know a lot of people are from Australia and UK here. Yeah, cool. All right. Probably something like this for the wave count for XRP. May form now we're just assuming that it's going to form a leading diagonal. It could just remember like I said in the last video, it could just have a straight impulsive move to the upside where this is your wave 1, this is your wave 2, and then we start our wave 3, 4 and 5 all the way up like that instead of a diagonal formation. Now, we can only say that this is going to continue up here as long as these lows hold here at the 70.2 to 78.6% fib right over here. Let me see where I placed it. Oh yeah, I placed it from here. You see how it came down to that 702, 786? Like right here. And then it's just slowly grinding up. What we can also do is take a trend-based fib from the bottom of A to the top of A and down to the bottom of B and find our trend-based fib targets. Okay. I really like the trend-based fib. I think it's a very useful tool when you want to find where the pivot points will be. Yeah. Okay, here are the fibs here. So as long as this level holds right here, then we should be good for the move up. Now, if you lose $2.33, then it's likely that this is a B, and then you come down for a C, and then you continue up from there. Now that's if we lose $2.33. Okay, so we'll put this guy here. Bulls must hold that level. We can also take a fib. We can also take a fib from this high down to this low and see where that 702 is, you see? So we may see a pivot here, come down for a wave 4 slightly, and then have that wave 5 up. Okay, now this is just an estimated trajectory. We're just assuming this is a leading diagonal. Now, remember, we must hold this $2.33 region. To find your wave 4, we're going to take a fib from the bottom of our expected wave 2 up to the top of our wave 3 here. Around this region. And we have another ABC up from there. A, B, and then C. Something like that. And then we'll also add an we'll also add a alternative count here. So this would be your alt. And then we could take a fib from this low, from this wick up to this high. It'd be something like that. This would be your wave 1. And then you would come down for an ABC like this for your wave 2. And then we would continue up from there. Now remember, this is just an estimated trajectory, so we'll see how it plays out. We'll make this guy blue here just so you can differentiate between the waves. Yes, we're going to the moon, bro. I mean, yeah, XRP can definitely go to $50 for sure. I actually think it has the possibility to go to 100, but just not this cycle, right? I think it'll come to I think it'll get hit in another cycle. Maybe next cycle or the cycle after, but I don't know about this cycle because this cycle is still speculative. Everyone's still speculating, right? I don't think the utility will reflect in the price yet. Yeah, we could definitely get some shorts first for sure. I put the alt scenario on the chart here. So if we end up losing this $2.33 region, then it's likely will come down to these lower Fibonacci retracements. So I'll just extend it over here just so you guys can see, and then we'll also add a trend-based fib. So what I like to do is I like to use the trend-based fib when trying to find the C wave, and you take a trend-based fib from the top of A to the bottom of A and up to the top of our expected B, and then you get all of these fibs here. And what I've noticed in crypto is that the pivots tend to be at the 786, right? So look how this 786 on the trend-based fib perfectly lines up with this 618. So if we did end up dropping below $2.33, then I'm sure we would go to 215 and then see a nice rise from there. Right? I feel like if we did come down here, a lot of people would be spooked for sure. But yeah, that's XRP. We could take a look here at Cake. I mean, Cake is having a really nice morning. Let's take a look at Cake. And yeah, like I said, if we, let me see how I place this. I mean, we're above the 786. So remember in the last live I did, I said that if Cake were to get above $2.01 at the 786, then it's likely we're going to take out this high here at 215, and then we would be for sure having that impulsive move to the upside. When we take a look here at Cake on this chart right here, it does look like we're about to have that fifth wave up. Now, what I noticed, especially in crypto, considering it's such a highly over-leveraged asset class, you tend to have fifth wave extensions. So what we're going to do to find that fifth wave is we're going to take a trend-based fib from the bottom of our wave 1 to the top of our expected wave 3 and down to the bottom of our wave 4. And I do expect this 786 to get hit at 271 very soon. If we go above 272, then it's 271, 272, then it's likely we'll head towards this 100% fib at 313. But yeah, this is what I see. This would be your wave 1, 2. This is your third, fourth, and then we're going in for that fifth, which would likely be an extension. Now, if we were to go to 313, let's see if that would line up with our regular fibs. And let me see. Yeah, it lines up at the 702. Let's see where the 618 is. Yeah, so around the 786. Around there. Then we would come down for an ABC wherever this terminates. Right? We would come down for an ABC, and then we would continue on higher for our wave 3. So this would, wherever this terminates, this would be your wave 1. You have your wave 2 maybe coming down 38.2% of the way. When we take a fib from this guy up to our expected wave high, it would probably come down 38.2 to the 38.2% fib, which would be right over here. Like right there, you see? $50% reduction in tax for crypto if you hold it. That's pretty good. I know Dubai, like if you go to Dubai, I'm sure like they have some really good tax benefits there. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Can you take a look at IOTA and DAG? I'm super bullish on IOTA. Let's take a look at IOTA here. Now, what I've noticed with IOTA, I was actually showing this to my Discord members. IOTA looks exactly like SUI before it took off. Right, let me just remove these waves just so you guys can see. Just so you guys can see what's going on here. Okay, so now I'm going to show you. So, okay, so this is IOTA, right? And then when we take a look at SUI, I'll show you SUI here. Oh, by the way, Cake is back above the 200-day moving average on the market cap chart. Just wanted to point that out there. But yeah, let's take a look at SUI here, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so look here at SUI. We'll go on the 3-day time frame. And is this not the exact same market structure? The only difference is that IOTA, it front run, or sorry, SUI front run IOTA, right? So we have your peak. We come from the bear market, so we come from lower lows and lower highs. You bottom out over here. You have your first run to the upside. You form your peak. Then you come down for your brutal correction. And then you bottom out right here. And you bottom out here and you make one more lower low. Bottom out over here and you make one more lower low on SUI. Now, when you zoom in over here, we have a move to the upside taking out this high, which would be our break of structure. You come down to the Fibonacci retracement. In this case, we came down towards the 70.2% fib, but for SUI, we have the same thing. One more lower low, break of structure, came down to the Fibonacci retracement, and then off we went to the races. Right? So it looks like the exact same thing. The only difference is that IOTA went a little bit deeper over here, but it's the exact same market structure. So yeah, that's what I see with IOTA. It's pretty good. And so let me see where SUI went relative to its February high. We could take a fib from this high down to this low and take a look at the okay, yeah, I went up to the 2.618. So if we were to do the same thing here on IOTA, be aiming for 394 to 630. 196, 394, and then 630. This is our trendline liquidity. So notice how we have a shared trend line. There is buy stops located above this trend line, which are likely to get taken out. And like I said in last video, right, whenever you have a confirmed downtrend, this is your confirmed downtrend, the market structure is making lower lows and lower highs. You come up here for your break of structure. So this is your BOS. And usually after a BOS or break of structure, you tend to have a little bit of a retrace, fill inefficiencies lower, and you come down to key Fibonacci supports before you continue on up to then have your change of character and then bullish order flow for higher lows and higher highs. So yeah, this is what we see over here for IOTA. Now, as long as this fib can hold, look where we came down to on the log scale for IOTA. Came down to the 786, 886 region. CRV short term, yeah, sure. Yeah, oh, XLM and CRV for sure, bro. We'll take a look at CRV. Okay. So we'll take a look at CRV and then we'll take a look at XLM. So this is CRV here. trying to see where I put this chart here. Okay, yeah, this is CRV right here. We'll go on the 4-hour time frame, and we took out this trend line liquidity, went right up to make a double top here. So this automatically becomes our equal high buy side liquidity right over here. So there's liquidity above this trend line, which is eventually going to be taken out. Okay, this is our EQH BSL right there. And then here are all of the Fibonacci retracements on the small time frame. Okay. So now here are the Fibonacci retracements for CRV on the 4-hour time frame. If we end up losing 0.4864, then it's likely we're going to come down to fill this wick a little bit more than we did over here. So we can take a fib from the bottom of this wick up to this high, and it would probably just come down to the 786 if we ended up losing 0.4864. So if you end up losing 0.4864, then it's likely we would come down to this 786 at 0.4441. So what I'm thinking is we see a bounce at any of these fibs, but as soon as you lose 0.4864 on the 4-hour time frame, so if you get a 4-hour close below this level, then it's likely we'll see manipulation down below this low at 0.4547 towards 0.444. And then if we don't see a bounce here at 0.441, then we can assume that, oh, okay, it's probably going to make a new low below this level. But then we must be cognizant of where the rest of the market is. So if we were to make a new low, then we would have to, then I'm sure the whole market would be doing the same thing. But if we did make a new low, I'm sure it would just be very minute, right? Make a new low just to sweep this low, and then we can create bullish divergence on the 4-hour. But so far, CRV looks good. We have our wave 1 from this low here in August, right? 5 waves up for your wave 1, WXY or AVC down for your wave 2, and then we have a very explosive wave 3, and then we're currently at the bottom of our wave 4. So now as this wave 4 is about to finish, or as this wave 4 is finishing, you're going to see chop and manipulation within this region right here. So if you're going to take a futures trade, make sure your stops are loose, low leverage, and ladder into the position so you can avoid being chopped out. Now that's the worst thing about crypto, is that the chop is really bad. Like even the wicks, right? So if we go on the 4-hour, on average, wicks are 5 to 20%, right? Like around 10 to 20%. Like look at this wick. Look at this wick right here. That was a 22% wick, right? If you were on 5x leverage, you'd be wiped out just by this wick. And yeah, this is what the crypto market does. So personally, whenever I take a futures trade, I never go above 2x leverage. You can go above, I mean, if you get a sniper entry, but you have to be very careful with risk management, especially in crypto, because it's such a highly over leveraged market, and those huge wicks they happen often. Like look at this wick right here. This wick alone was 19%. This wick alone over here was 4%. So if you're on 10x leverage, and let's say you took a long right here, or here, you would lose about 50% of your trade just from this wick. And then you would panic, you'd panic sell, close the position, and then you would just see it rush back up, right? So you have to be very careful with your leverage. But so far, CRV is holding up well. We do have equal high buy side liquidity here at 60 cent, which is likely to be, in which now it's likely to be taken out. Let me see here. Yeah, so we would be targeting 61 and 66 cent for our draw on liquidity. But yeah, this is CRV. It looks pretty good. It's just within a bottoming structure here. So this is CRV. I think it's a macro ABC correction. Looks a lot like Kava. We have a 3-wave move up, 3-wave move down, and we're going to have our 5-wave move to the upside. Major point of interest would be sitting at $3.14 and $5.36. The reason I say that is because that's the 786 on the linear and log scale. So if we were to take a fib from the all-time high down to the low, the log scale shows 314 at the 786 and the linear scale shows 536 at the 786. So yeah, around this region for your wave 5 with the possibility of a sweep of the range high sitting at $6. Anything above the range highs here, that would be considered our danger zone, because we already had deviation below the lows right over here, but we need to have deviation above the highs. We don't need to have it, but it's likely. Now you could see the same thing with Kava as well, right? Kava, like if we go on CoinTrader Pro and we take a look at Kava, and let's put this on the white chart so you guys can see everything. You see how we swept this range low right here? Like if we go on the monthly, you can see it better. We swept the range low here, but we need to sweep the range high here. We don't need to, but it's likely, right? Same kind of structure as CRV. A macro ABC correction. Kava is holding up so well. I mean, even during that huge crash that we had at the end of February, beginning of January, this held up, like it never even moved. I just found that so fascinating. Okay, this is our trendline liquidity right here. It's likely to be taken out very soon. Let's take a look at the MACD here on Kava. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. 12-hour MACD is turning up here. Looks good. This would be these would be your fibs here, your trend-based fibs. But yeah, looks good. Let's go back to XRP here. Do you think XRP will hit 11? Yeah, it is possible that we hit 11. XRP check. Okay. Hello from Thailand. Nice. I'm actually going to Thailand later this month, and then I'll be going to Vietnam for the Pancake Swap meetup. I know someone was asking for XLM. A lot of people were asking for that. So let's take a look at XLM here, because I know a lot of you guys asked for it in the last live, but I didn't have time to do it. So this is XLM here. We can go on the 3-day time frame, and yeah, this is the full chart of XLM. We'll go on the weekly time frame here. This is your wave 1 all the way back from 2014. We have your ABC for your wave 2. Then we have an explosive wave 3. We have what's called Wyckoff reaccumulation spanning over 2,478 days. So same as XRP. And then we had deviation below this trend line. So this over here was your deviation. Now, when you went below this diagonal trend line, a lot of traders thought it was over. Even I had doubts when it went below this trend line, but it looked like it was just a deviation before we blasted on out of there. But yeah, all XLM is doing is just coming back to, it's just coming down for a healthy retrace. Now, when we take a fib on XLM from this low right here up to this local top, we did come down to the 61.8% fib. So let's remove this 50%. We'll also add the 786 and the 70.2% fib. Okay. Worst case, I would say worst case scenario, we come down to 24 cent, 0.245 if we were to have a flush. I personally don't think that we come down here. I think that the correction is done, and then we're just going to chop within this region and then have our nice grind to the upside. But now there's many ways we can find our target, many ways we can find confluence with for the XLM peak. We can take a fib from this local top down to our expected low here with this fib right here. And we see that the 4.236% extension is sitting around that $1.70 to $1.90 region, like around this region right here. And then what we can also do is take a trend-based fib from this low up to this high and down to the counter trend. And we see the same thing around this $1.75 to $2.21 region. So in layman's terms, or to simplify it, you'd mainly want to look to ladder out of your position as price reaches these levels. So $1.19, $1.42, $1.75, you would ladder out, because anything above these range highs I would consider danger zones. So all the way up here you'd want to ladder out, and then these would be your major fibs, right? $1.55 to $1.90, and then if you get above $1.90 we have $2.21 to $2.92. Okay. But yeah, it looks like it's still complete. It still has to complete its fifth wave. This doesn't look completed yet, considering we haven't broke above these range highs, or in other words, our reaccumulation range. So this is Wyckoff reaccumulation. Now there's 6 schematics in total. There's 2 in distribution, 2 in accumulation, and I think there's 2 in reaccumulation as well. Now, there's also another Wyckoff schematic that not many traders know about. It's called Wyckoff redistribution. Now, that happens in the midst of a downtrend. For example, the DXY. The DXY was doing Wyckoff redistribution. When we go on the daily time frame over here, you see how let me just remove these drawings here. So yeah, so you see how you have your downtrend right here on the DXY? This is your downtrend, this guy right here. And then you have a pause in the market structure in the form of a flat pattern. Then you have deviation above the range right here. This tops out at the 70.2% fib, or the 618, depending on how you want to look at it. And then we also have a break of structure because we make a low below this guy right here with this wick. Then we have a retrace up to the 886, and now it's likely we're going to continue on down from there. As soon as you go below 106.402, then we can for sure say that this over here was the top on the DXY, and then we're going to continue down towards around that August, September, October region. And that's what the time cycles show as well, right? around this region, and then we would see a pivot from there for your wave 5, which would likely be your global recession. But yeah, this is Wyckoff redistribution. Not many traders know about redistribution schematics, but this is what it looks like. Basically, you have your first move to the downside, and then you form a rectangular range. You tend to sweep both sides of the range, right? And then you continue on down, right? Hello, Mr. Pibb, best analyst I know. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Can you have a look at IOTA or VET? Yeah, so I took a look at IOTA. It looks exactly like SUI. So as long as IOTA holds the lows, then it should be good for a move to the upside around that $3 to $4 region. We can also take a look at VET for you for sure, because I know a lot of people were asking for VET as well. So this is VET. This is VeChain. So let's take a look here. Yeah, so this is VeChain. I think it's just going to chop around here at these fibs before we see that move to the upside. When we take a closer look at VeChain, we do have an ABC correction. There's no doubt that this is an ABC correction. Our C wave was extended, so it came down to the 100% extension when we use our trend-based fib. And then with this wick over here, you would be expecting it to get filled, right? So in order to find the supports for that wick fill, we can take a fib from the bottom of the wick here up to the top of your automatic rally. And these would be all of your fibs. Notice how it came down to the 702 over here, and it's making a higher low. So as long as this higher low structure can be maintained, it wouldn't surprise me that we see the next move to the upside above 4 cent. However, if we end up losing the 618 at 3 cent, then it's likely it still has a little bit more chopping to do. Just going to chop around here, make traders pull out their hair before it continues up for its next leg. Worst case scenario, if VeChain lost 0.2967 at the 786, then it's likely it would just make a slightly lower low, and we would form nice bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame and then continue up from there. But so far, VeChain does look good. When we take a look at the daily time frame, I would be expecting a move like this. Okay, like this. VeChain is super strong. Let's see where the 200-day moving average is. So we went just below the 200-day moving average with this wick, pop back up, and now we're just seeing us fill the wick here. Okay, so as long as this higher low structure can be maintained, then we should be good for the low. Otherwise, we're just likely going to see more. It's likely it's just going to be chop city over here before we grind to the upside. But yeah, VeChain looks good. VeChain looks pretty good. TP1 would be sitting at around 22 cent at the 78.6% fib on the linear scale. And then we would be looking at the 1.618, 2.618 and above. I know 43 cent will be a huge TP because that's the 1.618 measured from this high, from the all-time high in 2021 down to this low. And we also have a break of structure. So remember what I was showing you guys with IOTA? Whenever you have a confirmed downtrend, you have your break of structure. This is your break of structure right here. And then after your break of structure, you tend to see a retrace. Fill the inefficiency before you continue up to make a new high for your change of character. And then you have bullish order flow because you're making higher highs and higher lows. But yeah, VeChain looks pretty good. Nice ABC correction. Don't be surprised if we chop around here. And remember, if you lose the 786 at 0.02967, then it's likely we're going to make just a slightly lower low, form bullish divergence, and then see a nice pop up from there. But yeah, VeChain looks pretty good. Let's see what XRP is doing here. Yeah, it's grinding up pretty nice. We also came down to the 702 here as well. So let's see how that holds. Yeah, I'm still super bullish on DGB for sure. For sure, bro. Now, I want to show you guys something really interesting on DGB. Trump coin, you got Orange Man rugged me. Yeah, Orange Man rugged a lot of people, bro. But yeah, Jasmy. I know you guys wanted to see Jasmy, so let's take a look here. This may be a WXY, like that, where this could be a wave 1, 2, and then we have our wave 3 to the upside. So this is either a WXY, and then our correction or our last leg in the correction terminates at the 78.6% fib on the logarithmic scale. Right here does have the possibility of coming down to the 886 at 0.018, but so far this looks like good support. As long as this low can hold here, then it should be good for a grind to the upside. Mainly what I would be looking for here on Jasmy is a move back above the 200-day moving average, sitting right here at 0.0255. Now this is either a WXY correction, or if Jasmy doesn't make a new low, this would be considered your wave 1, and then this would be your wave 2. And then we would come up for wave 3 to the upside. But so far Jasmy looks good. What we would be looking at over here would be let's check out the monthly time frame, see if there's any inefficiencies above. Be mainly looking here, and then now you see this monthly fair value gap. You see how it's right there at the 786 at 11 cent. So if this were to turn up here, it'd be about a nice 400% gain. Some nice bullish divergence forming here on the daily time frame. Just some slight bullish divergence from here to here. So you notice how we have a lower low, but a slight higher low on the RSI. Now, yeah, so Jasmy looks good. Now, these are the Fibonacci retracement levels for Jasmy right here. Okay, so what bulls would want to see here going forward is for this low to hold. Let's take a look at the stock RSI. Stock RSI is right at the lows. Look at the 3-day time frame on the stock RSI. Last time we were this low, we had a very nice pop to the upside. Here, here, over here. I like how it's crossing. I like how it's attempting to cross up here. And it's below 19.98 on the stock RSI. So Jasmy looks good. I mean, it did come down to the 886, and like I say, when you come down to the 786, 886, that's where you tend to see a reversal in the market, especially in crypto. So yeah, I would be expecting a move up to 11 cent, and then we'll take it level for level from there. This is your wave 1, your wave 2, your 3. This is your WXY for your 4, and then you have a wave 5. Or this may even be extended, right? We'll have to check this out. Yeah, so around here. Now, when we take a look at the fib from this high here in 2021 down to the bear market low on the linear scale, look where the 786 is. It's 786 is right there at that 24-cent region. And then when we take a trend-based fib from the bottom of our wave 1 to the top of our wave 3 and down to the bottom of our counter trend, we see that the 100% fib is around that same region. So it's possible it does have an extension of the fifth wave here at that 24-cent region. But yeah, this is Jasmy. Our first point of interest would be this monthly fair value gap at around 9 to 12 cent. And then if you get above 12 cent, then it's likely we're gonna be gravitated towards this level right here. And then these are the Fibonacci retracement levels that bulls want to see hold. So bulls want to see 0.0187 hold in order for us to continue our move to the upside. Otherwise, this is going to be a B, and then we're going to have a C wave sweeping this low, and then we're going to go up from there. But a move like that, it would be very brutal. I don't think we have it, but let's not rule it out until we need to see these levels hold. But yeah, Jasmy looks good. The market structure still does look healthy. Velo. Yeah, for sure. I can take a look at Velo. No problem. Yeah, sure. So let's take a look at Velo here. Let's go to CoinTrader Pro. Now, I took a look at Velo on the last live. Velo it's looking strong so far. So like I said in my last live, right? As long as this low holds here at 0.0135, then we should be good for that move to the upside. You had your break of structure, move down to fill this gap. And as long as these lows hold, then we should be good for that move to the upside. If the lows don't hold, then it's likely we're going to come down a little bit lower to take out this diagonal trend line. You see how perfect this diagonal trend line is? Sometimes in the market when trend lines are too perfect like that, you tend to sweep below it and then you get bought back up again. Very similar to that of XLM. Like I was showing you on the XLM chart, you had such a perfect macro trend line. You see this diagonal trend line, you see how you went below it? This would be considered your manipulation. This was your trend line liquidity and then you popped up from there. So, I mean, we could have that same thing happen with Jasmy in which it goes below this green trend line. But if that does happen, don't panic. because I'm sure it would just be like a manipulative wick before we continue on higher. But so far, Jasmy is holding the 786 at 0.015. And then, yeah. This is also Jasmy, or sorry, no, this is, sorry, Velo. I'm getting the coins mixed up. Yeah, so Velo is holding, and then let's take a look here. Yeah, so this is Velo. Nice rising. This is ascending accumulation. So now, like I said in the last live, whenever you have 3 peaks, most of the market, most traders think that because you have 5 waves here in a rising wedge formation, and you also have 3 touches, we're just going to go down to 0 like this. And they're just going to short this thing right to the ground. But sometimes, like most of the time, what I've noticed is it has one more push to the upside to fake out all of the people who went short up here, to take out all of those guys. We can take a fib from the all-time high down to the low, take a look at the logarithmic scale. And I think it comes to around 10 to 11 cent for sure. 10 to 11 cent, and then at the 618, and then the 702 at 20 cent. But yeah, around this region is where I would be expecting the throw over. Because remember, let's say this is your rising wedge, right? Let's say you have a rising wedge formation. You can even do it for the downside as well. So this is your rising wedge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All traders go short over here. The market comes down and they're like, yeah, I was right. It's going to come down. You know, we're going to short this right to 0. And then all of a sudden it does that and has the throw over. Same thing to the downside as well. You have 5 waves here. Everyone goes along over here with the anticipation of it breaking out to the upside, but what does it do instead? It does this. And all of the people, and then everyone flips short, and then it does that. You see what I'm saying? This is how the market works. It likes to fake out traders who think like this. You have these throw overs, so this is what I would be expecting on Velo. A nice throw over towards that 11 cent region, which would be at the 70.2% fib and the 618. Yeah, sure, I'll take a look at H-bar. And we'll take a look at DGB. Yeah, I'm bullish on DGB, bro. We'll take a look at Matic first. And because I know my members in the Discord, they were asking for Matic, so I can't skip over Matic here. So this is Matic over here. Pretty bullish on Matic. I know on the small time frame it looks like death, but it should reverse. It should see a reversal because we have a wave 1 from 2019 up. Yeah, 2019 WXY. This was a very shallow and simple wave 2. Very, very shallow and simple. Now, whenever you have a simple and shallow wave 2, you're likely to have a complex and more of a long and drawn out wave 4. That's just the law of alternation in the Elliott wave theory. Whenever you have a simple wave 2, you're likely to have a complex wave 4 and vice versa. So this is your wave 1, wave 2, your third wave. This looks like a WXY correction. We came down to the 38.2% fib. Now, as long as this level holds here, now you may see manipulation wicks like this within this region right here. You gotta give your trades room, right? You can't panic. You can't panic so easily, especially in crypto. Remember, like I said in the beginning of this live, normal, like on average, the wicks in crypto are like 10 to 20% wicks. And a 10 to 20% wick makes everyone panic before it reverses up. And then we still need to have our wave 5 because we only have 3 waves here. We only have 4 waves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we would have our wave 5 to around 232 to 288 for our TP1. TP2 would be sitting at the 1.618, 2.618, around 448 to $7. And then we would be taking a look at the 4.236 at 9 to 11, 960 to 11, but we're going to have it soon. I mean, it's just chopping around here. It's not really giving traders good entries. So within this region, around that 23 to 28 cent region, you should give the trade room before we can continue on higher. We can actually take a trend-based fib from this swing high down to this swing low and up to this counter trend. And that's how you get all of these Fibonacci retracement levels for your entries. Okay, so something like this. But yeah, this is Matic. On the high time frame, it's super bullish. On the small time frame, you're gonna see chop here. You're gonna see chop here on the small time frame. So be super careful with your entries if you're taking any futures trading, or sorry, any futures trades. And as you guys can see, we've had reaccumulation within this descending channel-like structure for over 1,000 days. Right, so almost 3 years here. Or 3 years. So and then within your wave 3 you have a wave 1, 2. This is your third wave, fourth, and then you have a truncation of the fifth. Okay, something like that. Yeah, so remember, for Matic, we can wick to 24 cent. Just be mindful of that. We can wick to there as a wick, and then see a nice pop up from there. But yeah, this is Matic. It looks pretty good. Also, yeah, Songbird. When do you think Matic will reach its TP3? Yeah, I do think it'll reach the TP3. Yeah, we can take a look at Algo, no problem. Let's take a look at H-bar, because I'm sure this guy is dying for H-bar here. So let's take a look here. So this is H-bar. Now with H-bar, it looks like a macro channel, right? You have your wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're working on our wave 5 to the upside. So around this region is where I would expect it to top out at, around the 75 cent to $1.10 region. And right now, all it's doing is just all it did was just your A, B, C correction. Nice flat pattern right here. Your A, your B, and then you have your C wave. Worst case scenario, it comes to the 200-day SMA at 0.148. That's worst case scenario. If it did make a new low here, then the whole market would also have to follow as well, right? But so far, this looks good to be your ABC, and then all we were doing was just filling this wick in. Now, what we can do for H bar is take a fib from this low, so from the bottom of this wick up to this high, and you can find the Fibonacci retracement levels for your wicks. or sorry, for your wick fill. Okay. So remember, bulls must hold this 20-cent region, otherwise we'll come down to the 200-day. But so far, this just looks like us filling the wick before we go higher. Looks a lot like XRP on the small time frame. Look at this hourly MACD. It's turning up here for this hourly MACD. There's no guarantee it'll be sustained, but I'm just pointing it out here that we do have a little bit of a cross. CPI today, 8:30 a.m. So in about 2 hours we have CPI. So pretty big day today for some news, and then Fed Chair Powell at 10 a.m. So we'll see how that plays out. Pip, you are the best. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it, man. Can we have a look at Algo? Sure. I gotta take a look at Flare and Songbird because my members were asking me for that. So we'll take a look at Flare and Songbird before we take a look at Algo. So let's take a look at Flare. And Flare's holding above the 200-day moving average, so it's looking pretty good. And remember what I said on the 2-week time frame? We have this inversion fair value gap right here. And we came down to it. We came down to fill that inversion fair value gap, and then we're also holding the 786, 702. And like I said, this is where you tend to see reversals at. So if we lose the 786, that would be a little bit of a cause for concern for the macro structure on Flare. But so far, this is bullish market structure. Came down to the inversion fair value gap and the 786. And then on the 4-hour time frame, higher lows. Let's take a look at the RSI. Okay, it's looking okay. Looking pretty good here. What I like to see here on Flare. Let me see here. I like to see these wicks to the downside because it shows that there is buy pressure there. And I also like to see that the price is above this 200-day moving average. I like the way this 4-hour time frame is looking. A possible bullish ascending triangle here. Possibly, right? So if we can get back up to these range highs here, that would be pretty good for bulls. And that would be sitting at the 0.0233 cent region. Okay. We can take our trend-based fib from the bottom of our first leg to the top of our first leg and down to the counter trend. And let's take a look at all of these fibs here. So you're going to want to take profit, not financial advice. You're going to want to take profit at 11 cent, 20 cent, and then 28. If we take a regular fib from this swing high down to this low on the logarithmic scale, look where that 786 is, 27 cent. So I'm thinking this is your wave 1 or your A wave, right? This is your wave 2 or your B wave. And now we're working on our wave 3 of 3. So this would be your wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this would be your wave 3 or C. Okay. Now there's no guarantee we'll continue on higher from there and have a fifth wave, because remember, this is 3 or C. So this could be a C wave, and it could be that could be all she wrote. Or we come down for a wave 4 and have that one more push to the upside to around that 45 cent region, which would be the 41 cent region, which would be the 702 from the all-time high on the IOU chart on Bitrue down to this low. So here are your TP levels for Flare. 11, 18 to 20 cent region, and then 27 to 30 cent region. What we can also do is take a fib from this high over here down to this low and take a look at it on the linear scale. What's the 4.236 extension? Right there at 29 cent, and we have confluence there, right? We have confluence because that's also the 786. So you're definitely going to want to take profit here, not financial advice. And this would also be your breaker block here, or your mitigation block. But yeah, I think 30 cent gets hit. What we would want to see here on Flare going forward is for this level to hold. We'll take a look at Songbird. I know it took a huge hit. Okay, so this is Songbird here. We do have this weekly fair value gap right here. These are your Fibonacci retracement levels. Came down to the 786. And there is a possibility it comes down to the 886 right here at 0.0044. This looks like accumulation. So what you may see here is you just may see chop like this, right? I don't think it's going to go into 2026, but I'm just showing you like what I'm thinking. It just chops like this, and then it continues up from there. If these lows hold, we would mainly want to see this 886 hold here in order for us to get this move like that. But I'm sure as long as people are speculating on Flare, they're going to be speculating on Songbird as well. And we also see 5 waves here. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that we see 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth wave came to the 618702. And then this just looks like a B, and then you have your C wave like that. Okay, this is the optimistic scenario for Flare. So we'll continue to monitor it. It's looking okay. I mean, it's holding the 786. But if it does dip down to the 886, don't panic. Lose the 886, then that would be our bullish invalidation. What does take profit mean to you? It means take profit into cash. Pulse chain. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of people are asking for pulse chains, so let's take a look here. I know you guys wanted to take a look at Richard Hart's meme coin, Most Wanted. Now you see with Most Wanted, there's no telling where this thing can really go, you know? I mean, let's see if we have any divergence on the RSI on the 4-hour. And we have some divergence here. So I'm thinking this could be your A wave. So you're 5 down in your A, you're 3 up in your B, and then you have another 5 down with an ending diagonal within your C. So we can actually count this out. This would be your wave 1, 2. It's your 3rd, 4th, 5. Extension of the 5th wave. Then you have your ABC up. Boom. Like this. Maybe something like this. Then to find where your C wave can see the pivot, we'll take a trend-based fib to this. And we're right there at the 786. So we may see the pivot today. We may see the pivot this week for sure, around this region. Let's also add the 886 in there. So yeah, these are your 3 support levels. So if you're bullish on most, these are the 3 support levels that I would be looking for the pivot. These 3 levels right here. If you go below the 100% fib, then I wouldn't be sure of where it's going to go, because we would be coming down right down to the airdrop price if we lose the 100%. But so far, this looks pretty good. This looks like an ending diagonal, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we would be targeting the 78.6% fib on the log scale. Okay, so around this region, and we would see the pop up there. About a 10x, 11x from current prices. It could still go lower for sure. But yeah, this is what I see here for most. It's looking okay. It looks squeezed here. We may see a throw over under this diagonal and then see the nice push up from there. Ondo. Yeah, I can take a look at Ondo for sure. Now, I think Ondo, World Liberty Finance, I believe that's Trump's team. They bought about $160,000 of Ondo last week. So there is interest in this coin. There is interest by the Trump team. So I think Ondo can get to 383 to 534. So what we can do is take a trend-based fib from the very low here up to this high and down at the counter trend. We do see that the 786 is at $4.86. And then when we take a trend-based fib from this wave 1, right, because this looks like a wave 1, a wave 2, a 3, a 4, and then we're going to have a 5. So when we take a trend-based fib to this, we can see that the 1.236% fib perfectly, not perfectly, but it's within this 786 region. So what we can do is create a box like this. And look how it came down to this 200-day moving average right here. It's looking okay. I really like this wick here. I want to see a move above this trend line in order to confirm the bullish bias. We also came down to the 786 on the linear scale as well. So that's pretty good. Here are all your interim fib supports. These are all your fib supports right here. Wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then that would be your third wave. One or A, 2 or B, and then 3 or C. Now what we can also do is take a fib from our December high down to our expected low, and we'll take a look at all of the major fibs over here. Notice how that 3.618 perfectly lines up at the 1.236 at 529, 534 region. So we're still getting so much confluence around here, around this purple zone. So that's where I'm thinking Ondo reaches. Plus, we also have the Trump team buying this coin. I think they bought like 160,000 last week. And then the structure would look like this, right? Actually, a really bullish structure here. Then it would probably come down for a wave 4. Most market participants would probably think it comes all the way back down to this trendline support, but I'm sure it would just come down maybe 38.2 to 50% of the way down on the linear scale, and then see another push up for your wave 5, like that. So far, it looks good. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, bro. Can you take a look at... Oh, yeah, algo. We got to take a look at algo. Okay, so now algo. I'm super bullish on algo. Now, the reason let me just remove these drawings here. So now I'm super bullish on algo. The structure on algo is super clear to me, because not only do we have Wyckoff accumulation, but we also have a clear impulsive move to the upside, right? You have your preliminary supply. So I'll show you you can follow along with this schematic, your preliminary supply. So your one last upswing before you enter into your selling climax. This is your selling climax. Then you have your automatic rally. Come down for your secondary test. Then you have your failed breakout. Then we come down for your secondary test in phase B. Have a move up to the range highs for your second failed break. Then we come down and chop like this. Notice how we come down and chop, but we don't make a new low. We still make a higher low. And then we have a rapid rise above the range. This is your rapid rise above the range for your sign of strength. Then you come down for your backup phase or your LPS, which would be this guy right here. Notice how we had a clear ABC correction back down to the range highs. Clear ABC correction. And we also hit the 200-day moving average as well. Let's not forget that. You see how we came down to the 200-day moving average? I'll make this a little bit more thick so you guys can see. Look how we came down, not only to the top of our range for your backup phase, but we tapped the 200-day. And then if we look a little bit closer, we had a wick fill to the 61.8% fib. So it does look good for a move to the upside. I don't see algo going any lower. I mean, if it did go lower, I'm sure it would just make a very slight low, like a slightly lower low below this low, but I'm sure it would just be a liquidation event, like a very, very quick liquidation event. But it wouldn't be my main bias. My main bias is that the correction is done, and then we come up for your wave 5, likely to around the $1 to $1.37 region. Yeah. So now to find the targets, we can do two things. We can take a fib from the all-time high back in 2021 down to the bear market low, and we do see that the 702 is sitting at $1 and the 786 is at $1.37. We can also take a fib from our December high down to our expected low, and we see that the 2.618 is right there at $1.23. So it's around that same region, right? Then we can also take a trend-based fib from the bottom of our wave 1 to the top of our wave 3 and down to the bottom of our wave 4. And we do see that the 100% fib is at $1.45, which would be around that 786. And the 786 on the trend-based fib is at 97 cents, which would be around the 702. So we have a lot of confluence around that $1 to $1.45 region, right? Now, once we get there, that'll likely be that'll likely be the peak of your third wave. Now, this could be an ABC correction to the upside. That's why I'm saying take profit within this region, not financial advice. Because there's no guarantee we'll come up for that wave 5 above the last all-time high. I think we do. I think we do come up and take out the all-time high, but nothing is guaranteed in the market. That's why I always stress the importance of taking profits at key Fibonacci levels. But from a Wyckoff point of view and from an Elliott wave point of view, this coin is structurally sound. Very, very clear to me what Algo is going to do. Looks like we're entering into phase E now, right? We had our backup phase. We had our SOS. This was your SOS right here. Then we had to come back to the top of the range. We came back to the top of the range. Then we have continuation into phase E. Okay? So, Algo's looking pretty good. Thank you so much for that, Sandile. I really appreciate that. Take a look at GLMR. Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, you'll really like the Discord. I'm looking forward to seeing you there, bro. Hello, Pip Snipers. Can you do GLMR analysis? Sure. I can do that, no problem. So, okay, so I can already see by this structure that this looks like Wyckoff. Now, as long as this low holds, right? We want to see this low hold on GLMR at 0.096. If you go below that low, that'll be bearish. But so far on GLMR, this looks like Wyckoff. Now, remember, like I said, whenever you see the market going sideways at the lows, what you want to do is just place 3 lines on the chart. You just want to eye it, right? That's all you want to do is just eye it. And this is your Wyckoff range. And sometimes what you see, like usually what you see is 3 floors. So you have your first floor, your second floor, and then you have your third floor. 1, 2, 3. 3 significant lows. And usually on your third floor, that's your spring. Okay, so this is Wyckoff here. Okay, so it looks like we just completed our spring here. Now remember, this low must hold in order for us to consider that a spring. Okay. So I would consider this a preliminary supply right here. This is your selling climax, your automatic rally, secondary test, failed breakout, which is this guy right here. Okay, then you come down for your ST in phase B. Which is this guy right here. Then you come up for your second fail break. This is your second fail break, so we'll call this our FB number 2. And then you creak down. Very painful process for holders. This is your creak, so we'll call this our creak. This guy right here. Now remember, like I said in my previous videos, the creek can manifest in many different patterns. broadening wedge formation, a falling wedge formation. In this case, we kind of have a broadening wedge-like formation. So this is your creek. This is your spring. If the lows hold, right? So this would be considered our bullish invalidation. Okay. And then what we can do here, go on the hourly time frame, take a fib from this low up to this high. We did come down to the 50% fib, and this would be your test. Okay. Or the test is not in yet and we come down to the lower fibs, but so far we'll just call this our test for the sake of this analysis. So spring, test, spring, test, and then once you get above this 200-day moving average, sitting at around 20 cent, that would be your LPS. So what I would want to see here going forward is a move back above this 200-day moving average, or at least back towards it. So you have your spring, test, last point of support. And then you have your sign of strength. Now we can take a fib from the very high of the range, so the highest recorded price within the range, down to the spring, and we can take a look at some of the fibs here. And yeah, would be expecting the 2.618, 3.618 region to get hit. So maybe something like this, like if we don't go below this low and we manage to stay above it, then it wouldn't surprise me that it comes up like this to the 1.618, 2.618, and it could come here. There is a possibility. And then it would come down for your backup phase, and then it would continue on up from there. If the structure is strong enough, we'll have to see where the rest of the market is, but remember, this low must hold. This low must hold in order for us to consider it a spring. Now, this would be your TP1. This is your TP2. And then you have your TP3. Okay, and we can see here that we've been within this structure for about almost 1,000 days of accumulation. Same as a lot of ERC20 tokens, 1,000 days of accumulation. So this would be your SOS. Right here. And then you would come down for your backup phase. BU, LPS. Like this. So yeah, this is your Wyckoff range. Thank you so much for that, Pratty. I really appreciate that. Thank you, bro. You did your most wanted analysis on the wrong chart. Please do it on the right one. Price 0.08 on PulseX. Okay. Yeah, no problem. Let's oh, this is Ricky. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, my bad. So we'll take a look at it again. This is Dex Screener. Most wanted. I don't really know where it is, bro. So maybe like I think it's called most, right? Most. Yeah, this is most. Okay. So most came down to the 50% fib. So it looks like I actually did analysis on this for my Discord members. It came down to the 50% fib here. And as long as this 50% fib holds, we should be good for that move to the upside. What we can do to find the upside targets is take a fib from this all-time high down to the low. And yeah, these are your fib levels. So as long as this low holds here, right here, then it should be good for a move up like this. And then it would form kind of like a structure like P-die or teddy bear, right? A ascending channel, ending diagonal-like formation. And then we can go down to the lows here. And see where this guy came down to. And look where it came down to. It came down to the 786 here. 1, 0, boom, boom, boom. You see how it came down to the 786? See if we have any bullish divergence on the RSI. And yeah, we do have a little bit of bullish divergence here. So yeah, mainly what I would want to be looking for here is for these two levels to hold. These two levels, 0.078 and 0.073. These two levels. Otherwise, we'll come down to the 618 at 4 cent, 0.045. But so far, this does look good for a third wave. Because remember, we only have one wave of euphoria. It's your first wave of euphoria. This is your second wave of euphoria. Nice reaccumulation structure at the low. So this is your reaccumulation structure. Like this. We'll make this red so you guys can see. Okay. Or I'll make it blue. It's better. So we're just going to chop here at these lows, likely before our third leg. Right? And then this would be considered your 2. And then we need to have a third wave. Now, the reason it's likely to make this ascending channel formation is because a lot of the meme coins on the Pulse Chain network, or sorry, the Pulse Chain ecosystem, have made a rising channel-like structure, like teddy bear, P-die. They've all had this rising channel-like structure. So I would be expecting 39 cent to 60 cent to get hit, which would be about 7x, and you may see a throw over to around 81 cents. So about a 6 to 10x from the current price. And then this over here is just reaccumulation. So you may see chop here at the lows before you have that third wave. And we see the same thing for teddy bear and PDI. You see with teddy bear, I don't think this is the right one, but yeah, PDI had the same structure as most. Good morning, Mina. Hope you're doing well. Did the inflation adjustment on ink impact your price projection on ink? No, it didn't impact the price projection. I still think $27 gets hit, which would be the 78.6% fib on the logarithmic scale. So let's take a look at incentive token. Now I'm super bullish on incentive token. This looks like Wyckoff accumulation. Just trying to find where I put this chart here. Here's my chart. So we did call the bottom on incentive token in the last pulse chain update. This is a nice bullish dragon pattern, right? We have your head of your dragon. We have your left foot, and then we have your right foot. Now your right foot the right foot of your dragon slightly sweeps this low, or it makes a slightly higher low. And I did point out to my Discord members that as soon as you get above the 78.6% fib on the daily time frame, then we can confirm the breakout. And what have we done over here? We've gotten above the 786 and we're remaining above it. So now you may see some consolidation here, you may see some chop, but ultimately I do expect higher prices. And this is pure Wyckoff accumulation. So you have your five-way move to the upside for your wave 1 or A. You have your ABC correction with a shallow C wave. Also a bullish dragon pattern. So this is what a bullish dragon pattern looks like. You see? You see how the right foot slightly sweeps your left foot? And then you go off to the races from there. Look over here. This is another example. Your right foot slightly sweeps your left foot. And your right foot of your dragon, that's usually where a lot of people they sell their bag, and then all of a sudden you see this really nice pop to the upside. See, it looks like a dragon, right? Your head, left foot, right foot, and then you see your push. So same thing on incentive. Just slightly swept the low here towards the 618, and we finally got above the 786 at $3.34. Now all I did to find these Fibonacci retracement levels is I just took a fib from this high down to this low, and we're above the 786 here. So you may see consolidation here because we do have some topping tails forming. Notice how we have these long wicks to the upside. So we may see consolidation here and then continue on higher, but so far it looks pretty good. These are all of your support levels. So to find the support levels, just take a fib from this low up to this high. And then these are all your support levels. I don't see us going back down below $1.68. I don't see it. We could come down to $1.68, but I don't see us going down below it. We can take a look at another chart on incentive. And I'll show you what I mean by Wyckoff accumulation. Remember what I said. Whenever you see price going sideways, just place 3 lines on your chart. And we have it. We have your spring right here. This is your spring. This is your secondary test in phase B, your fail break number 2, your creek, spring. So this is ST in phase B. Fail break number 2, creek, spring. Okay. And look at this. Look at this as well. We swept the range highs and we swept the range lows. And then we saw the pop off from there. When we take a look at PulseX, we have a very similar bottoming structure. I'll show you what I mean by that. So this is PulseX. It's looking super nice, looking really good. And we found some resistance here at the 78.6% fib. So now I have a full chart on PulseX with updates in the Discord. So if you haven't joined, then definitely click the link in the description below to join that, so you can stay updated with the ecosystem. But let's take a look at another chart on PulseX just to show you what I mean by the bottoming structure. Now, when we bottomed back here back in September 2024, look how we swept it. Look how we swept the lows. You see how we just swept it slightly, and then we saw that nice push to the upside. And we see the same thing with incentive. People get depressed when you make a new low over here. People, like, this is max depression for retail holders. This is max depression. And then all of a sudden you see that nice push up. We actually call the bottom on the day on PulseX. I said that we swept this low. This was your ending diagonal. And then we saw the push to the upside. But yeah, PulseX looks good. The whole ecosystem looks good. I would just want to see a move back above that 786. But yeah, looks pretty good. Let's take a look at Cake. Cake is on a tear this morning. Cake is attempting a move back above the 200-day. It's actually above the 200-day moving average right now. Cake is looking really good. Oh, I appreciate that, Mina. Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate that. DGB, yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure. We can take a look at DGB. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so I actually made a chart here on DGB. This is DGB Wyckoff accumulation. Almost 2 years of accumulation at the lows. And same thing with incentive token, right? We swept the lows. This was your spring. And then we saw that rapid incline to the upside. This is your check back right down to the 786. And we're attempting a move back to the 200-day moving average. As soon as you get above the 200-day moving average at 0.009 and then get a daily closure above it, then we can for sure say we're off to the races, and then this is your ABC correction. Okay, let's take a look at this on the 3-day time frame just so you guys can see the macro structure here. This is DGB. Still bullish on it. Wyckoff accumulation at the lows for 3 years. This is heavy accumulation. I mean, 3 years of accumulation. Like, I've seen a lot of coins, and like most coins, most ERC20 tokens, they have about 1,000 days of accumulation. But on DGB, we have 3 years. So that's pretty bullish. Like exactly Oh yeah, this is around 1,000 days. Yeah, so 3 years. So same as the other coins. But yeah, DGB looks pretty good. This would be your TP. These would be your TP targets. So once it has expansion out of the range, these would be your TP levels. It would be the 23.6% fib, 38.2% fib, and then the 618 to 786 on the linear scale. So all I did is I just took a fib from this 2021 high down to the bear market low on the linear scale. Then what you can do is take a fib from the high of your range down to the low of your range and see if any of the major fibs line up with these Fibonacci retracement levels. So these would be your TP levels for DGB. And remember, this TP3, it doesn't mean sell it all. It just means take a good chunk and always leave a moon bag just in case it goes higher. I'm sure it will go higher and take out this all-time high. But remember, nothing is guaranteed in the market. Right? You don't want to be caught in a correction, so always take your profits. But yeah, this is DGB, super bullish on DGB. You see this move right here on DGB, this spring, and then you have a test, and then you have your SOS, and then continuation. That's this move right here. This is your spring on DGB. And then this is your last point of support. And then once you get back above the 200-day moving average, then we should be good for continuation up for your sign of strength. But yeah, DGB looks good. Almost 3 years of accumulation at the lows. And we also came back to the 786. Let's not forget that. Like I say in a lot of my videos, whenever you come down to the 786, that's likely where you tend to see that's where you tend to see a huge pivot. And we came right down to the 786. When we take a fib from this low up to this high, you see how we came down to the 786? Now all I want to see here is just to move above the 200-day. That's all I want to see on the 3-day time frame or on the daily. But yeah, this looks like a completed ABC correction here. API 3 update. Yeah, sure. Theta. Yeah, I can take a look at Theta. No problem, bro, for sure. But yeah, let's take a look at API 3 because I know Bitcoin dominance. Yep, we'll take a look at that. No problem. We'll take a look at VIOT. Sure, no problem. Okay, let's take a look at yeah, let's take a look at Theta. And then we'll take a look at API 3. So Theta, so this is your support and resistance flip right here. Now, we've been using this level as resistance for about, let me see here. We've been using it as resistance for about 578 days. So over 1 year, almost 2 years as resistance. And then we finally break above it. And then we use it as support. Came down for an ABC correction. But yeah, as long as these lows hold on Theta, it should be good for a grind to the upside. I would mainly want to be looking for a move back above this 200-day moving average at $1.66. When we take a look here at the 30-minute time frame, we can see that this move right here was down to the 786, 886. This was an extreme. So if we take a fib from this wick up to this high, look where it came down to. Came down to the 786. And then now to see where this low is going to pivot at, we could take a fib from this low up to this high and then see. And it came down to the 618. But yeah, theta looks good. These are your support levels. Yeah, I think it comes back to at least this 200-day moving average at $1.66. It would just make sense, because we had such a violent move down. I mean, from the highs on theta back in December, that's a 65% drop. Like usually when you see a drop like that, you're likely to see a really nice relief rally. And then what you tend to see at the lows, so like this is your ABC correction, right? And then what you tend to see at the lows is you have your automatic rally, and then you can take a fib from this high up to this, from this low up to this swing high, and then it'll creak down to the 786, and then it sees a pop up from there. So we want to see this 786 hold here on theta on the small time frame at a $1.2358. If it can't stay above 1.2358, then likely still has a little bit more chop left in it, and it's probably going to make a new low, but like a slightly lower low, just to form some bullish divergence. But yeah, $1.2358 is a very strong low. And then I would be expecting a move to the 200-day at $1.66. But so far, on the macro time frame, theta looks good. This is your TP1, TP2, and TP3. So we would be looking at 940 to 1240 for a very conservative target on theta. I personally think it makes a new all-time high, and then it forms like this rising wedge-like structure. But yeah, we'll continue to monitor theta, but it does have bullish order flow, right? We're still making higher lows and higher highs here from September 2023. So it's looking okay. And then it has a nice ABC correction here. ABC. And then what we can also do is take a fib from this low here in November. So this would be the start of the altcoin run. From this low up to this high on the logarithmic scale, look where it came down to. Came down to the 786. I mean, it wicked lower, but it managed to get back above. So very, very significant. But yeah, this is theta. Thank you so much, Sandile. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we can take a look at BCH. And yeah, we'll take a look at yeah, we'll take a look at BCH, and we'll take a look at API 3 for sure. Let's take a look at API 3. So now API 3, it hasn't changed. API 3 is still looking good. Let me just remove all these drawings here. This was from the last live stream I did. I was just showing you guys how it relates to this schematic, but remember, like I said, these lows must hold in order to consider it like a spring. And you know what this looks like? This looks like GLMR. So I just did GLMR for one of the requests here. So let's take a look at GLMR or Glamour or Moonbeam. And this kind of looks like the same thing. You know, it's just a different formation for the creek. Very similar structure, right? But yeah, looking pretty good here on API 3. The lows are holding, and we have 3 consecutive higher lows on the 3-day time frame. Let's take a look at the 4-hour, and these are all of your intermediary support levels. Hit this 618. Don't be surprised if we see a flush. There is a possibility of that. But remember, in order for the bullish bias to stay intact, this low must hold at 0.687. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So, okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. And then what we can do is take a look at total 3, QNT, XRP, and then we'll end the stream. And then we can do another one tomorrow, no problem. So this is Bitcoin dominance. I really like the wave count on this chart. It's really interesting. I really like the way it's shaped here. But yeah, so this is Bitcoin dominance. And what do we have here? We have, so if we go on the linear scale, you have this huge wedge, right? Like this. And then let's take a look at the wave count here. 3 up in your A, 3 down in your B, and then a 5-wave move to the upside within your C wave. And then within the 5th wave, we have what's called an ending diagonal. So this is an ending diagonal. You see they form in the 5th wave, and the waves overlap each other, and the subwaves divide into 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so forth. And what you tend to notice, especially in crypto, is you have what's called a throwover. So this was, I believe this was the Dow Jones back in 1980. You see how we had you see how with the 5th wave we have this blow off top like formation where you have a throw over of this wedge. You see how you have a deviation above it? I'll show you a little bit more what I mean. Throw over trading. Yeah, you see? You see how you have the throw over, and we see the same thing with BTCD. This wick right here is your throw over. That was your throw over. So go on the daily. So go on the 4 hour. You see this throw over of this pattern, and now we're continuing down here. So it's looking pretty good. Three up in your 1, 3 down in your 2, 3 up in your 3, 3 down in your 4, and another 3 up in your 5. And every single wave within this fifth wave subdivides into 3 waves. And the waves are overlapping as well. We had a wick fill up to the 38.2% fib. What I would want to see here going forward is a push below 61.09% in order to confirm a break of structure. So in order to confirm a break of structure, I would want to see a move below this level. And then you may see a retrace and then continue on down from there. But so far we did break down below this bear flag. I just want to see a push below this level. And I would be expecting a move to fill this weekly inefficiency here at 46.47% or 46.67. You see this huge gap on the weekly time frame. This is actually a inversion fair value gap right here. This is your inversion fair value gap. We have 2 gaps lining up, and it comes down to the 702.786. So I would be expecting Bitcoin dominance to have a swift move down to here. Looks pretty good. And then let's also not forget that it did come up to the 786 here, this blow off top. When we take a fib from this high down to this low, look where the 786 is. Look where we hit. Look where this wick hit. Perfectly at the 786. So this would be called your throw over. Okay. Looks pretty good. New to your channel, really enjoying it. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. When are your thoughts on when alts kick off? This month, man. I think it kicks off this month. Oh yeah, we got to take a look at BCH. So we'll take a look at BCH here. I actually did a chart for my members on BCH. Looks good. So what I'm thinking for BCH is that it has an extension of the fifth wave. We'll go on the daily time frame. It's your wave 1, your wave 2, third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave of your wave 1. Or sorry, this would be wave 1 extension. My apologies. Then you have the same structure as Ethereum. Look at ETH. Same structure, right? WXY in a rectangular formation. When we take a look at BCH, same thing. WXY. So I expect chop around this region, chop, 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 and then finally we'll have a move above this trend line, which has been acting as resistance since 2017. So there's tons of liquidity above this trend line. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 times we've come to this trend line. The 5th time, I mean, if we come back to it for the 5th time, it's likely to be a breakout. And we would be targeting 2,000 bucks. So 1,400 to 2,000 probably come down for a wave 4, maybe 23.6% of the way, and then go up for that wave 5 to then maybe make a double top or just slightly sweep this high. But remember, Elliott wave is not down to a science, and we're going to have to alter these waves as the price develops. Now, if you want to stay updated with these wave counts, then join the Discord, click the link in the description below so I can update it in. You guys can stay tuned, right? But yeah, this is what I see for BCH. I think this is just a wave 1 extension. And I do think that regardless of us coming down like this, we have to remember that we've come to tap this trend line as resistance 4 times now. I mean, it's likely we're going to see a move back up to it, and it's going to be a breakout, right? We can take a fib from this high in April down to this low, and the 4.236, 3.618 is around $1,800, $2,000. So yeah, this is BCH, 27, almost 2,800 days of accumulation. Yeah, pretty good. BCH looks pretty good. XRP will take over ETH. Yeah. Yeah, I think so, man. Maybe. Okay, let's take a look at XRP before I switch off the stream. But I want us to take a look at QNT because I promised this guy on Twitter we would take a look at QNT. And yeah, QNT, it's looking good. This is Wyckoff reaccumulation, sweep of range highs, sweep of range lows, move back up to range highs. You have peak euphoria and froth in the market. A lot of people over leveraging, going long here. Like I said, people go long at trendline resistance, people go short at trendline support. Everyone was long here at the range highs, so it makes sense that we would have a check back. It makes sense. And we just had a check back to the 200-day moving average. The fact that we came to the 200-day moving average, went below it with a wick, and then got bought back up extremely, very significantly, it goes to show you that there's huge demand here. So yeah, I think these lows hold on QNT, and then eventually we'll see expansion out of this range towards to take out internal range liquidity with our draw on liquidity being 277. And then remember, this is just a chart, not regarding time, it's just the price. But when we take a fib from this all-time high down to the low, the 4.236% extension is sitting at 1655. But yeah, this is what I see for QNT. So this is what I was showing in my last live, right? You have your ABC correction from 2021, right? Was this 2021? Yeah, it was. Then you have your sweep of range highs, your creek and your consolidation within the range, your sweep of range lows, where the composite operator buys up all of this excess supply in the market. You see a push up to the top of the range, and this is where everyone gets excited. This is where everyone goes long. They put their life savings in QNT because they're like, oh my God, it came up to range highs. It's going to continue higher like that. But no, the market always does the opposite of what most people think, right? So once you had max euphoria and froth in the market and everyone going long, you just had a check back to reset the market before you have continuation to the upside. Okay? So let's take a look at XRP before I go here, and let's just take a look at this on the small time frame. Now I want to show you something that I saw on XRP yesterday. One of my members was telling me, look at the market cap chart of XRP. And when I took a look at it, I saw something really important. So before I present those findings to you, let's just take a look here at the small time frame on XRP. Still grinding up here. It's still grinding up. So remember, this blue count is your alternate scenario. So we could still have an ABC down to 215. Yeah, 215 region. Maybe $2.06, but this would be your alternate scenario. My main scenario would be that we come up like this for your A, B, and then we have a 5-wave move up to around above 280 to around the 291 to $3 region. Come down for another ABC for your 4, 5, for your wave 1, 2, and then so forth. But we'll definitely have to alter these waves as the price develops in the Discord. So make sure you guys join the Discord so you guys can stay up to date with XRP. And then, yeah, this is XRP. I want to show you the finding that I saw yesterday on the market cap chart. This is the market cap chart on XRP. We'll go on the weekly time frame. Now, remember all of those videos I made in 2023 and 2024, walking you guys through the Wyckoff accumulation schematic on XRP, telling you guys not to worry because this is just Wyckoff accumulation. Well, what you can do is take a fib from the highest recorded price in the Wyckoff schematic down to your last point of support and look at the major fibs. Look where we hit. We perfectly topped out at the 2.618 and we had a correction here. Now the 3.618 is at 456.89 billion, which would be around that $7.50 to $8 region. The 4.236 is at 770.93 billion, which would be $13. Though there is a high chance that $13 region gets hit. And that would also be the 4.236 on the USD chart. So if we take a fib from the 2021 high down to this low, to the bear market low of March 2020, or sorry, the 2018 high down to the bear market low of 2020, 4.236 is at $13. And the market cap chart perfectly lines up with that. So yeah, definitely possible we get to those prices. So I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. I should be doing another one tomorrow. I may do another one tomorrow, and yeah, I do give some lessons in the Discord. I have a tips and tricks section, and I just share a lot of trading tips in there. So definitely check it out. But yeah, it was really nice to see you guys here and do all the analysis for you. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream today. I may do another one tomorrow, so I'll see you there. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out and take it easy. See you in the next one.